Many people in the neighborhood owned geese, and they let the geese out every morning, and so it became known as Goosetown.
Located in northeast Iowa City, Goosetown was first inhabited in the 1850s by immigrants from what was then known as Bohemia.
I enjoy the history of the neighborhood. I've become very engaged with it.
So much that Mary Beth spent years doing research and eventually wrote a book about the Czech immigrants who created the neighborhood.
Their self-reliance, their little farms, their use of the land, all those things.
The title, Small But Ours, is a translation from a common Czech expression which reflects the modesty of the neighborhood and the people who first lived here. The history of the homes is something neighbors take great pride in.
I love that we live in a historic neighborhood with historic homes.
It was the very small town, modest circumstances of the neighborhood that appealed to me.
Mary Beth's connection to the history was taken a step further in 2008.
Isaac Augustus Weatherby came from Boston in 1854.
Also a painter, Weatherby became the first official state photographer.
He took the earliest pictures of Old Capitol and the downtown area, so he's important for that reason.
And when a developer was planning to tear down his old home, Mary Beth intervened.
I heard that the house was going to be demolished, and I panicked, and luckily it was saved, and it's been just a joy to be inside it.
She got in contact with the family, who then began donating photos, portraits, and other artifacts.
These were donated to the house by the family.
Restoring the house was another way for Mary Beth to preserve history, a priority of the neighborhood for some time.
My name is Carl Klaus, and I've lived in the Goosetown neighborhood since 1970 in this very same house.
Around the time that Carl and his wife first moved to the neighborhood, the city was considering selling some land that was then a green space. A developer hoped to construct 3 duplexes, which didn't sit well with some of the neighbors. They organized a group that went to the council.
There were probably about 100 of us, and we appealed to the council.
The council struck a deal with the group to allow the neighborhood to develop a new park, which is now known as Reno Park.
The park marks the formal organization of this neighborhood as a neighborhood association.
Flash forward to the 1990s and you'll find another example of neighborhood camaraderie. The Montessori school operated out of a historic home next to the park and wanted to build an addition onto the property,
which would have been facing over the whole length of the park.
So the group organized again, this time using a shirt to market its message.
The t-shirt was, in a way, our salvation because everyone in the neighborhood was wearing that t-shirt.
The park holds a special meaning in the neighborhood, among other amenities.
We're right next to the Black Angel in the Oakland Cemetery. We're really close to Hickory Hill Park. It's got a lot of walking trails.
I like the parks like Hickory Hill and Reno, and that all the streets are lined with all these old trees, and it's just gorgeous.
Today, the neighborhood is made up of a mixture of rental and owner-occupied homes, which helps create a diverse atmosphere.
And it's a mixture of older people, younger people.
As I've aged, I've been delighted by the fact that I'm surrounded by people much younger than I am.
A big reason for that is its proximity to the university.
I like that it's very close to downtown. It's walkable to everything that you want to do.
And the friendly factor goes beyond Iowa nice.
And the neighbors really do take care of each other.
For Carl, who has spent 47 of his 85 years living in his home in Goosetown, it's more than just a neighborhood.
That is like having a connection to the womb in a way. It goes back so far in my life.